This guitar changed my mind about Novo. In today's episode, we check out the Serus T model in ice blue metallic. So without further ado, let's get straight into the demonstration. Hey guys, welcome back to Squealing Pig Guitars, the home of luxury strat machines here in Nottingham, England. My name is Ben Keightley, and today we're looking at a really cool Novo Guitars model. Before we get into today's video, guys, I just want to say a massive thank you to all the support on the videos recently. Yesterday, we uploaded our Burst vintage video, basically where we reviewed a 1960s Gibson Les Paul vintage Burst, and overnight we got 5,000 views, and we're really appreciative of all the support that you guys are giving. And the support is really motivating. It's making me want to put even more into these videos, so I really appreciate it. But if you are new to the channel, make sure to hit subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified when we make a new post, and most importantly, comment your thoughts down below and leave a like if you're enjoying. But enough talking about that, let's take a deep dive into this Novo Serus T guitar. So welcome to the spec talk of this Novo Serus T, obviously inspired by the Telecaster and Fender instruments, but has its own charm. I love Novo guitars, made in Nashville, Tennessee. I visited last week and I'm still missing Nashville, I'm not gonna lie, I'm having the blues from getting back. Such an amazing place. But this is a really cool guitar, and I've played quite a few Novos over the last couple of months, previous to which I'd never played one. So the other Novo guitar that I've played is the Serus J model, and although I was impressed with that guitar, it didn't make me want to buy one. For some reason, that guitar just didn't hit as well as I thought. It had a wraparound tailpiece at the P90 pickups, and although it played really well, it just wasn't calling me. However, this one, with the tempered pine, the thicker body, the telly setup, and the gold foil in the neck, it's just a really cool sounding guitar. I've played it through my Kemper, I've played it through my Positive Grid Spark 2, which is like my practice amp when I'm at home, and I just love the guitar. So there was just something about this guitar that I really liked. So let's break down the specs and see if we can find out why I like this Novo guitar so much. I really like this Serus shape, this kind of offset body, sits really comfortably on the neck, and it's a very thick body, so it feels really reassuring, and I just love the big mystical headstock. Obviously this is the Serus T, meaning that we have the telly bridge and telly pickup. We do have a gold foil in here as well, which is kind of interesting. But we'll start with the construction of said guitar. So we have tempered pine on the body, and then we have tempered maple. I believe tempered's just a phrase for like roasting. Basically, they put the wood in a very hot environment, which brings all the moisture out of the wood, meaning that it's stronger and won't move as much, obviously under temperature changes, which is good. Just like all Novo guitars, to my knowledge, this has a lovely kind of relic finish. It's kind of a light distress, so you can see a little bit of the wood creeping through there. The neck has a really nice satin finish, very easy to play, and we have a few areas where the paint's come off, and this is what they call the ice blue metallic. I really like this finish, as not only have you got lacquer checking, but you can actually see the wood grain through the guitar, which is a very, visually pleasing aspect of this guitar. We then have a pretty weird pickguard, but it works really well. So it's kind of like a gold pickguard, but it is see-through. And then we have a metallic area here, just like a Jazzmaster or a Jaguar. Three-way switch, one volume, one tone. For the pickups, we have a Lola set of gold foil pickup, and then we have the Telly bridge pickup there, and then we have a Telly style bridge, which is a Goto Telly bridge with the brass saddles, very similar to the custom shop one. Got the Novo 4-bolt backplate to connect the neck. Obviously, string ferrules for the Telecaster bridge. Then moving on to the neck, we just have the black indicator dots on the front and the side, and then we have 6-in-line vintage tuners with the Novo headstock. I'm a massive fan of this headstock, it looks incredible, and the fret job on this guitar is just impeccable. You can barely feel the fret ends as you play, and it's got a really comfortable chunky C profile. Obviously, being a Fender style instrument, we've got a 25.5 inch scale length, and we have 21 frets on this bad boy. The frets are Jessica 6125 frets, and we have an unbleached bone nut, which is 1.65 inches. This example comes in at 7.2 pounds and is delivered in a mono soft case, which is really good for traveling. Let me show you that case now because it is so amazing. So here's the case that it comes in. From first appearance, it just looks like a soft case, but this is actually a really high-end soft case bag, which actually is like walled, so it's very strong indeed. You also have a headrest for your guitar here, so the guitar goes in here, straps up there, and it's very, very heavy duty. You could easily fly over a case like this. Nice back straps that you can put on. These cases are made in California, and they're very comfortable indeed, great for a touring musician. So that's all the specs of the Novo Serus T, so without further ado, let's go to the tone demonstration and hear how she sounds. Welcome to the tone demonstration. In today's episode, I'm plugged straight into my Kemper Profiler rig with an AC30 preset. I've also got an EQ pedal on this one just to make it sound a little bit more vintage. It's just pronouncing a little bit of the mid-range and taking some of the bass out. Obviously, this is kind of like a Telly setup in the bridge. Obviously, the pickups of this guitar are very interesting, having the Lola gold foil in the neck, and then we have the Telly setup in the bridge. So at the start of today's episode, I was on the bridge pickup. Tone was rolled down quite a fair bit, and I had the volume on about half. So this is the tone that I got in the intro. The capo is on 3rd fret. I'm tuned to E flat. Let's hear it once again. Sound of that bridge Telly pickup. As I put it on full volume, I've still got quite a lot of gain on the amplifier. This is kind of what we're tone so much, it sounds incredible. Single coils always work really well with fuzz, but this Novo is so comfortable to play. I've even got the capo on the 3rd fret, and you can still bend on this guitar so easily. The frets are done to perfection. It feels a little bit like a Fender neck, but then you have this massive headstock and really comfortable offset body. I have to get myself a Novo. I just love them so much. Obviously, we've got the Telly bridge, again, something that I would find slightly uncomfortable being a Telly bridge, but this works really well on this one. Such a unique look as well. Let's go back to a clean setting now, and I'm going to go through each of the tones, basically. Let's take off the capo. Now I'm back onto a completely clean tone, as you can hear. And I've got very minimal reverb, so you can really hear the character of these pickups. Pretty classic tone, really good for kind of jazz movements. So if I put a bit more reverb, articulate. You can hear all the notes coming through there, but it still has a nice kind of bloom to the sound. Then in the middle position, you've got both pickups working together, and obviously you've got that telly pickup, which is really bright, so you've got a nice contrast in this guitar. Now it's time for the bridge pickups, a full telly tone. Get some mellow tones. If you turn the tone control down a little bit, you can still get some really nice sounds. Turn all the way down. Lovely tones on the clean setting. Let's dirty it up a little bit. First, I'm just going to add a tube screamer and remove the reverb so we can just hear that kind of room tone. next time. Wow, that fuzz tone on the bridge pickup is insane. These Telly Loller pickups sound incredible. Last thing to do, let's just hit the neck pickup with a little bit of crunch and then we'll finish off the demo. So guys, that's the end of the tone demonstration. Let's go to the end of the video where I give my personal review and rating of this Novo guitar. So guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for checking into this video. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, rating, and subscribe if you're new. And most importantly, let me know in the comment section below if you own any Novo guitars. And also let me know your opinion on this guitar. What do you think? Do you like the way it looks? Do you like the way it sounds? I love chatting to you guys in the comment section below, so make sure to get commenting. For this video today, I'm going to rate this guitar a 9 out of 10. A very strong score for this Novo. For me, it changed my whole perspective on the Novo brand. I think I now get Novo as a brand and see their unique characteristic in the market. This guitar performs so well for blues, rock, all that type of stuff, and for my more recent fuzz tones and more fingerstyle playing, I found them very, very inspiring. Again, it changed the way I played, brought things out of my playing that I'm not used to, which is always a good sign of a guitar if it makes you play a little bit differently. First, let's talk about the feel. The neck is sublime. The way that they've made this guitar, you can tell they've spent hours crafting it. The frets are very level, the frets have a really nice rolled edges, and it has a chunky C profile, which is definitely up my street. Although it was a 25.5 inch scale, which normally I don't get along with as much, I still found it very easy to bend even when the capo was on. Moving on to the body just sits in such a nice way. The offset shape of this Serus is just beautiful, and I preferred how it was a little bit thicker and less contoured than the Serus J model. The Serus T is a little bit more angular, like a Telecaster, and it just felt very good in my arms. It had incredible tuning stability. I only had to retune once, and that was when I went to drop D, so I didn't actually have to retune at all, and the intonation on this guitar was perfect. Tone controls are very reactive, especially on that bridge pickup, as it is very bright. You'd want to curtail it a little bit when you're playing lead playing, so I just found it very, very fun to play. Personally, would I go for a gold foil in the neck? I think it's a cool kind of alteration from a standard P90. I think for me, if this was a perfect Novo for me, it would have a PAF in the neck and then that Telly bridge pickup, as I think that would be quite a cool mix of specs. But the gold foil does sound amazing. It's just you want to have that tone if you're going for it. But yeah, for today, the Novo Serus T is getting a 9 out of 10 and definitely a thumbs up from me. But that is the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As I mentioned previously, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us increase the engagement on these videos, which means bigger and better guitars for you. But that is the end of the video. My name is Ben Keightley. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time for another episode of Guitar Fun. But until then, that leaves me with one last thing to say. Keep rocking, guys. I'll see you soon.